Welcome back to Red, White, and Buffalo. I'm Adam, and with my co-host Zilla, back at it again, talking nothing but our true love Buffalo
Is
Bills.
this year number 3?
What is it? Yeah, I think it's year number 3.
Wow.
We've been a little inconsistent, but hey, we're keeping it strong, and that's all that matters.
Aiming for consistency this
Aiming
year.
for consistency this year,
Yeah.
hoping to get out more on our social media and everything else to you guys.
Yep.
So
We'll
keep
stay tuned. We're gonna try to get a set day for release or something that we can commit to every week. So hopefully it'll make it
yeah.
easier to keep up with us and everything. So
Yep, and just follow our YouTube if you haven't by now, so that will be easy for you guys to see when we're getting stuff out. We also have TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. So just follow along, and it should be a fun year. This is our first year doing this without the Stefan Diggs, Josh Allen connection. So this will be fun to see what happens this year. A lot of people are saying, that the offense is going to be totally. A lot of people are saying it's going to be bad, but I don't know. I have a feeling that things are going to be really good this year. Josh Allen seems to be, stepping up as a leader. He obviously got captain, named, what was it, yesterday or the day before? Him and Bernard, which is, dang, let's do this.
Yeah.
Bernard is a stud. I'm glad he's just getting better and better.
Future Milano.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere too. Really, honestly, over the last year.
Yeah.
Was it last year mainly?
Last year, yeah, he had.
Yeah.
I guess he did all right at Baylor, but he's just like a shining star. Stepped up.
Yeah.
Now he's like a leader. He was like Milano when Milano left.
He's going into year 4 now too. So
I got to comment on that. I was very disappointed. I heard that interview, or there was an interview with him, and he was saying that he was really looking forward to being with Milano all season because he's like, I'm better with him, obviously. And what a downer! Like I think a week after that happened, the announcement, and I was like, oh boy.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it sucks. Milano, it was heartbreaking. Honestly, it was just like soul crushing.
We also
losing
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying losing somebody that you were just like expecting to have a full defense that was like going to be this nice, young, good defense again this year. And of course, it's not complete.
And we went without him last year, part of the year. So we really were looking forward to this year. And then the other thing I was going to say about it was that I think we also got trolled hard from everybody that I know about our defense. They're like, your defense is gone. It's gone, just because they had to make those difficult cuts. So it was kind of another bad slap having to have him go down too. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely sucked to have him go down after we lost a couple key guys and a couple people that we were really relying on, so.
Yeah.
Going into that, though, we did add a lot of, decent acquisitions this year, though. We were still able to keep a lot of good guys. Our offense, we added a lot of role players and Keon Coleman. Josh Allen came out today and said he's like, I've never played with a guy of this kind of skill set. So
wow.
And he's liking it. So
Diggs too.
Right. But they're different, Diggs is more of like a route running kind of guy, where like Keon Coleman is like the guy that's gonna go jump up and catch the ball kind of guy. It's just a little bit different. Where Diggs is kind of more of a finesse. Where I think Keon Coleman is going to be more of like a Calvin Johnson, where it's kind of like you just like jump up and catch anything kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's good though, because that's kind of like a lot of like. Josh's throws a lot of times are like he's just heaving it up there, hoping that the guy's gonna catch it. And honestly, that is football a lot of time. Like you gotta. I know accuracy and everything, but at the end of the day, you gotta hope that the guy catches it.
He's pretty accurate for heaving it, but there's a lot of times where it's like a desperation throw, and then it'd be great to have someone who's gonna pull that in for sure.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So obviously adding Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, Ray Davis is a backup for James Cook.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we were just talking about him before the podcast. He seems like he's going to be a decent backup.
Yeah.
Good receiving and power. So
yep. They're saying a good replacement for Latavius Murray, who kind of was impactful last year for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
because Latavius even did receiving too, if you remember.
Yeah. So I mean, he was pretty important for like getting. that's the big thing last year. We finally were able to get like 5 yards, like two and like
Yeah,
second and 5, third and 5. We didn't have to go pass every single time,
yeah,
so that was good. Like,
yeah. It's definitely it's good too to have two running backs because having James Cook not have to be out there every snap, and that's kind of the today's game with a lot of sports. It's like less reps and get more out of less reps kind of thing. So
yeah,
uh, we'll see. I think it's good. I think it's good to have a good like combo like this. So and obviously Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman. That's I think those are two really good acquisitions to add to. Everybody's downplaying Shakir.
yeah.
Did we just forget about him? I
I
don't
don't.
know.
I mean,
I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I have people taunting us about him. Like, I'm thinking like he looked great last year, honestly, and then I don't expect him
And
to get worse. Yeah,
he's a slot too, so like he's like kind of the starter, but he's like starting slot, so it's just different, you know. And also like it's hard to say. Like Gabe Davis, 4 touchdowns in the playoff game, comes back the next year, and like not really what you were expecting after a 4 touchdown performance, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it kind of just got to the point where you're just like, it's never going to be. It's going to be a lot of boom or bust. So
Well,
hopefully Shakir is going to be one of those like Cole Beasley type guy that gets you like 70, 100 receptions. You know,
yeah.
800 to 1,200 yards, depending on good like a okay year or good year kind
Maybe
of thing.
between him and Kincaid, they get those like a lot of the 10 yards, like just second and 10, whatever, I mean, like down the middle. Hopefully we have both of those people stepping up and doing that. Oh, it looks like you froze. We
Where
can't do
were
it.
we talking? What were we talking about? Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, so we're talking about Curtis Samuel. I was saying that hopefully it'd be really nice to have Curtis Samuel and Kincaid take that role where they can get like 10 yards down the middle or run those routes like that, as slot and tight end together.
Yeah.
And I think Curtis Samuel, I think, is going to be huge. I really do, and I think people
Yeah.
laugh at me, but the guy's never really had like a leading role, and people are like, well, he's not going to be a leading role there either. But I still just think like I've had him on fantasy a couple of years and stuff, and he's always just been picked over.
Consistent.
Yeah, he's been consistent with what he does, but he's never been given more than that really. So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And this year, his targets are going to go way up just because he's more of the number one receiver there. So
And I think we said we
it's
said
tough.
with Josh, it's going to be like Patty we were talking about, where like I think it's
Yeah.
with Diggs gone, it's going to be more of like who's going to catch the ball. Like it doesn't matter. You don't need to play favorites anymore, really. So
Well, that's what they're already
yeah,
saying is he's already just like spreading it around more. He's stepped up as a leader more. Like it's going to be a different game, and I think they involve the run game a lot more. And they already did that in the second half of the season. You saw it. You saw it already. So they're becoming much more of a multi-dimensional team, and it's fun to see the offense develop because for the last like 3.5 years, like 3 years, we've really been saying like, okay, they only really can like just explode passing, and they can't really do much else.
mm,
And it's very annoying when you get up to a team that just plays you hard and you can't get any passing done, or it's a bad weather game or something like that.
yeah,
And last year, especially the last 8 games of the year, we just switched to a multi-dimensional team, and I was fine. Remember, we both were like, we're finally a team that can rush and pass the ball efficiently. And
yeah,
it's so exciting because they've definitely got to build this year off of it. And as long as everyone stays healthy, yes, they lost some guys on the line, but they moved some people around, and they still got a majority of their offensive line. So there's some people returning, which is always good when you get experience like that. So I'm excited. This offense is good. It's obviously uncertain because it's unknown, and that's understandable for everybody to be. Calling a lot of people are either going to be like, this is going to be a great offense, or a lot of people are going to be saying this is a bad offense, and there's very little in between because we just don't know yet.
And I think my thing with it was people say, "Oh, well, you don't have like a superstar receiver like that anymore." It's like, okay, cool. Well, who do you cover now? Like from
Right.
the perspective of your opponent, like who would you cover on our team? Who knows? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if you got four equal options or three people that are pretty good and two other good options, like, I think that's a better situation than knowing that Josh is looking for Diggs first. You know what I mean?
100%.
Or looking for Diggs last. If everything else is falling through. So
Yeah. So I think he's just going to be much more relaxed this year, and I think even for less forcing things too. I think he. I don't think it was like, oh, Stephon Diggs was forcing him to do things. It wasn't even. It's not even that. It's the outside pressure of like, if you don't get him 10, 10, 15 targets a game, then there's going to be, even if Diggs isn't even the one doing it, there's going to be talk just because of like his attitude around all that stuff. So
I think
it's
he's
just
yeah, I think he's a little bit. I feel like he was a little bit um responsible for kind of demanding that from Josh, but also it's just the point that they had like a off the field relationship as a friendship, and then like he probably just felt kind of obligated, or even not even obligated, but felt like Stephon Diggs is reliable, like he's a passer he can trust. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So who do you go
Of
to?
course, of
Yeah,
course, and he was,
yeah,
and he was right. I mean, even the last 8 games, obviously, you still have to take him as a guy you can trust. And the last 8 games, obviously, I think the play calls went away from Diggs too. It wasn't just Diggs forgot how to play. Obviously,
yeah.
it's not like he was just saying the other day. He's like, I didn't forget how to fucking play football, and it's true. He didn't forget how to play football, but it's just like the game started going away from him because I think they started to realize like, okay, we might need to move on from him.
Mm.
And they wanted to see how the offense went, and it obviously got better. Honestly, it didn't get better. I mean, obviously when they were at their best, like they were dominant, like 1,500 yards receiving, and Josh Allen like 38 touchdowns, whatever it was, and that's obviously really good, but this offense, I feel like, is just it makes it, since it's dimensional, and it's not necessarily focused on one guy or another. Samuel, the number one guy, can be having an off game, and then Kincaid, Cook, you know, or Coleman might step up, and there's a higher chance of that happening rather than having just like a Gabe Davis who's a boomer bust, or a Stephon Diggs who you have to like, he's obviously going to be covered a ton.
Yeah.
And Kincaid obviously showed last year that he's going to be good.
That
73 receptions. He's only going to get better this year.
I
So
agree. I think the shadow thing will be gone. Like, who do you shadow? That's kind of like what I said. Who do you cover?
yeah,
Like with Diggs, the obvious choice was you try to shut him down all game. And especially when we had
yeah,
no run game that was effective, we couldn't really do anything. So if someone did that
yeah,
to us, um, so I won't stay on Diggs that long. I'm just saying, like, I also just hope the team chemistry is better. I think that
yeah,
we always question it, but it always seemed like there's always a little bit of him, like, and this is the type of guy he is. I think, like, on social media and stuff, making comments that are odd and stuff, just to kind of poke at it. And so I'm like, fine. Like, I hope he does well at Houston, but
yeah.
I'm happier with this setup, and I'm real excited because it's
Yeah,
kind of the biggest mix up we've done in a while with the team. I think.
I'll have my Diggs jersey forever, and I appreciate Diggs for the 4 years he was here. Like, he literally changed Buffalo. He helped change Buffalo to the team it is today, and helped change Josh Allen's career.
Hmm.
And we cannot deny that. Like, Diggs was a crucial factor in the development of the team and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, yeah, when everyone was like, "Oh, yeah, he's traded," blah blah, you probably hate, and I was like, honestly, I'm not mad at Diggs at all.
Yeah.
I was like, and I'm not like even saying like we're gonna be better off necessarily. I'm just saying that like it's just change. It makes it a change that was needed. I think everybody agrees with that, whether you're the media, whether you're Buffalo Bills or Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen. Like, I think it got to the point where it was kind of like your brother that you guys have lived together through your teenage years, and you kind of just need to like get away from each other for a minute,
Yeah.
but you're still brothers and you love each other,
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's kind of like that with Diggs, and it's like that's how I kind of felt with Diggs. So I wish him nothing but the best, but when we play Houston this year, I hope we absolutely destroy them. Destroy.
Yeah, we've got a couple of
You
those
already know.
games. We got the Miami one too with Poyer, and actually
You already know.
I feel worse about Poyer being gone because I know why they did it, but like he's someone who didn't really want to leave. You know what I mean? Like He didn't really
Yeah, it
want to leave. Yeah,
sucks.
so that's worse because like Diggs I think was kind of like, all right, fine, I'll leave. You know, that's cool. Like it got to the
Right.
point. So let's move along to some of the other things.
Yeah.
Then I was gonna say we'll obviously do predictions because that's kind of like
Yeah.
our
We should
traditional.
finish out with a couple at the end
Yeah,
here.
I
We're not
want.
going to talk too much longer, but I definitely want to do at least like we could even do like first. How many games? There's 8. We could always do first or 18, so we could do first 6
Yeah, let's
and
let's.
see. And then like week 5, we could see how we're doing and come back to it.
I was gonna say let's do the full season, but then halfway through the season we'll see if we want to change our mind about anything. How about that?
You
Like,
want to do that?
yeah, because
Okay.
then based on what we've seen, I think you'll have like, you know what I mean. If someone told you, hey, go do the picks for the entire season, or like watch them for 8 games and then revisit that, you know, you're gonna have
Right.
probably a better idea what other teams are doing too at that point. Um, so I had a question for you, just a fun one, and this
Yeah.
wasn't like prompted ahead of time. I was gonna drop it just for discussion. Who do you think?
Yeah.
And we hear all this nonsense, and I'm not gonna fill in the blanks, but who do you think the biggest threat is in the AFC for the Bills this year?
Chiefs hands down every year. I don't
Still
care
the
what
Chiefs
anybody
again?
says. It's always going to be the Chiefs. I don't think we can say it's anything other than the Chiefs uh, until we beat them because they've beaten us. They've like held us off that many times. I think it's a close second. The only other team I'm really that worried about are the Bengals. Uh, and I know everybody might be blah, 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 like crazy about that, but honestly, when Joe Burrow is on and that team is healthy, they are a good team. They've beaten what he's beaten Mahomes like 3 out of 4, 2 out of 3, something like that, uh, for like bigger games and stuff like that. So I don't know. I definitely I hate Miami Dolphins. I think they'll be a like a 9-8 team. I don't think they're going to be that great of a team. So I definitely think it's Chiefs no matter what, and even if they have an off season like a like not the greatest season, which I think at this point they're back to a dominant team. I think last year, if anything, was like the practice to get back to ramping up to be a dominant team again. So
I
I
think,
could see Chiefs being like 12-4 or what is 12-5 it would be or whatever.
yeah. I think it's a good point about the Bengals. I think people forget they just forgot last year that Joe Burrow was out a bunch of the season, and that's why
Yeah,
they weren't as good as they would normally be.
and I understand. Remember Tua last year? Everybody was like, "Oh no, we don't know about him. We don't know about him." Then he goes and leads the league in passing. So it's like you don't know. Obviously, anybody can get hurt, but also Tom Brady tore his ACL mid-career, came back for like 8 more years and dominated. So it's
Yeah,
just like you can't just say it's over, you know,
yeah. I think for me,
or it's even going to decline. So
yeah, for me, I think it's the Texans, and like you said, we haven't seen them yet, but everyone's hyping the Jets up, and you know everyone's trolling us about the Jets. But I'm gonna say, I think Houston made the biggest moves this past year, like to try to go over the top. You know, they slipped into the playoffs last
I just
year,
think their defense slacks still.
but I mean, it's one of those things though. Like some of the years Chiefs didn't have that great of a defense either. You know what I mean? Like if you have enough of a powerful offense, you can carry you as long as you're consistent on that side of the field. You know. You just have to have a good enough
Yeah,
defense
they also
to.
have a lot of young. What's that?
I'd say you just have to have a good enough defense to get a couple stops once in a while. You know, they don't have to be
Yeah,
dominant. So
true,
yeah,
true, but they also have a lot of young talent. Like I know CJ Stroud was a stud last year, but like let's see.
yeah,
I mean, we'll see. I'm not saying he won't be like bad this year. All I'm saying is like, who knows if he's going to be another like second or third in the league in passing yards. Like how many he had like 30 plus touchdowns. Like who knows? He might like go back a little bit this year, and that could change the whole season.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they only went 10-7 last
yeah.
year
They only
with
slipped
with
in.
him doing that.
Yeah, yeah,
So like if he gets any worse than that, and that's a pretty freaking good season, whether you're a rookie or not. So if he gets any worse, does that mean the team gets worse? I don't know. So I mean, it's not a bad pick. Their offense is absolutely loaded,
yeah.
loaded.
I'm just excited to see, and I'm glad we play them. I'm really happy we get to play them. You know, and that's in
Yeah,
October,
what
6
was
weeks
that?
ago.
Week 5. Week
Yeah,
5.
yeah, yep. So we don't have
Are
to
you
wait
gonna
too long
go?
for it either. I think is that Sunday? Which one of those? Is that one of the primetime
It's
ones?
at Houston. Are you going?
Oh
It's
boy,
1 p.m. You should
I
go.
should go. I should go. That's
Wait,
10
10-6.
6 though. That's what I was trying to look up. Is that a Sunday or is that a Monday or a Thursday? Is that one of those primetime games?
Hold on.
I'm gonna look it up quick. The 6th is Sunday. Yeah, it's a 12 o'clock game. Sunday.
Shit. um,
Why were you thinking
that's
about going?
interesting. I'm like, huh?
It's not
That'd
that.
be interesting. I don't know.
It's not too far of a flight from where you are. How about it?
It's not too far, and it's damn. That's interesting. Okay, keep that in mind, Giselle. We
I'm
might go.
glad
We
you
might be
mentioned
going to
that.
that
I
Houston.
didn't even think about it
I just saw it. and I was like, wait a
because
minute.
I'm always looking for an away game that's easier for me to get to. You know what I mean?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I want a couple predictions from you two before we do schedule predictions.
All right.
I want your MVP for this year.
Uh, I feel like that's a loaded question, right? It's
No,
kind of.
not necessarily. I mean,
I mean, it's
give me your top three finalists, so we're not just saying Josh.
yeah, yeah.
How about that?
It's honestly difficult because like I think you made a good point about we haven't seen how people are playing too. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be
Yeah,
surprises. There can be surprises, but I mean out of like the last year's, if we pick up where we left off from last year, then I think as long as Josh can tighten up interceptions this year, he has a strong chance of taking MVP by stats. Especially.
even if you could cut his interceptions
Yeah,
like a third
yeah.
down to like 12,
Four less, five less. It's just
so he's like outside of the top 10.
yeah, it put
Yeah,
him three over the other people that were his peers, which makes him look
yeah,
worse. You know what I mean? Three or four. So that's
yeah,
yeah.
right,
If you could just clean
100%.
that up a little bit, he probably it'd be a hard conversation to have to not include him in the mix.
Yeah.
Realistically. Um, and then I don't know. There's other people like it depends how they show up. Like I don't really like Dak Prescott, but like he typically puts big numbers up every year. And
Yeah,
we
finished
like
second last year.
we have this conversation too all the time about where I think when we have the conversation where it's like, is it strictly stats or is it like where you bring your team also?
Team.
Yeah. So
So it really depends. Like
yeah,
last year, Jackson. He definitely. I mean, I'm not. I hate don't. I like Lamar. It's not Lamar. It's just it's the NFL.
yeah,
They chose to pick the best players, even with the defense with Miles Garrett. He did had a good season, but he was by far not the defensive player of the year. Like I even literally know multiple Browns fans that were like that was definitely set up because Browns were the best defense overall last year, just like the Ravens were the best team record wise and overall last year. So overall, it goes to the best player on the best team, and they were both the best player on both their side of the offensive defense.
so
So it just sucks.
I kind of dodged your question, so I think I'll say like I really not because I'm a Bills fan. I really think Josh Allen. It could be this year, could be his year.
Yep.
And then other than that, if we pick up from last year with what you think is going to happen, not including any of the new people involved and everything else or newer, I'd say probably Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, obviously for the three. Probably they'd probably the top three. Maybe someone like Brock Purdy. I mean, his numbers were good last year.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a fluke, he might be a guy. He might be a top 10, top 5 guy. Depends on what's happening. So,
Who do you think is going to be the breakout player for the Bills?
out of the new ones that we acquired,
Just in general this
uh,
year, who do you think is going to be like the guy that like shines above?
I think Kincaid. I think it's gonna
Okay.
go wild, and I think last year just Josh tested the waters with him, and I think we discussed how Knox it kind of transitioned from Knox being his guy to
Yeah.
more Kincaid, and I
It
think
did.
I think that Josh just really historically he
It
also
definitely did.
yeah he leaned on tight ends like and the 5-10 yards like the red zone if you're not going to run in 15 yards he went tight end passes a lot with Knox so I think that could be Kincaid and we could do a lot more because he's capable of a lot more so
Yeah.
yeah how about you for both those questions how about your MVPs and the breakout player.
MVP, I think Josh for sure for the same reasons, obviously, and then I think Patty just because I think it's second year in that new team now. I think he's just gonna be. He had like kind of an off year last year. I think he's gonna be much better this year and much like honestly like he's probably going to go right back to throwing like 5,000 yards again and 35 to 40 touchdowns, and it'd be right up there for MVP candidate. I don't know. It's hard to say for a third, but
As I say, he was missing Kelsey during that slump too.
yeah, he was,
yeah.
and I definitely think those two always like for sure separate themselves from the rest when you first think about like statistics more times than not.
And
But it really does like if his I feel like even last year if he had a good team he would have won it last year. But like his team was kind of off. He had a good season realistically, even having an off season, you know.
mm-hmm.
So I would definitely think it would definitely go to either one of those for like high chance before anybody else. I'm actually looking right now to see who else would I think for a third. I think Jalen Hurts might sneak in there just because he gets a lot of rushing touchdowns, and I think they're gonna have probably Lamar in there just because he was last year, and if they have another, if they're towards the top in the AFC, I could see them pushing for him again to be up there.
It's interesting because I drafted Jalen Hurts in one of those fantasy leagues, but I do feel like they ended on a sour note last year.
Oh, actually, you know what? Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he's. I'd say that Jalen Hurts. I think there's just like too many issues on the team.
CMC again, because if he has another year like that, gosh, you gotta look at him again. CMC.
I don't know if they'll ever give it to anyone not a quarterback.
It's just crazy because that was a crazy year last year, so he definitely deserves it. But and then breakout player, I think it's gonna go to. I think it's gonna be close between. I think James Cook's going to have a really, really good year, but I think Ray Davis is also going to be a really good backup. So I think he could be not shining above everyone else, but I think he's going to be a nice surprise. But I think Curtis Samuel, I just think he's going to have a lot, like, because I think Keon's going to have like the ups and downs of the NFL. He's going to have a decent year, but I just first year, who knows? If he has a really good like crazy year, like that's awesome. But it's hard to say, especially with him already being kind of, we don't know what's going to happen, what's with him kind of thing.
It's a tough adjustment. You don't know how it's
going
to be. Yeah.
And Curtis is a role player. He's a good route runner. He's just finesse, like fast. And I think that's like what Josh looks for a lot. And I think it's going to, and also obviously, dude, Kincaid, come on. Mm-hmm. Like I definitely agree with that too. I definitely think he's going to be one of the best receivers on our team. For sure. One last thing before schedule. Bold prediction. Mine, the Baltimore Ravens miss the playoffs.
Didn't I make? Well, I made a bold prediction. I think I said we're gonna go to the championship game this year and win. So Super Bowl appearance.
Little Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, it's probably not that bold, but
I also agree. Yeah. I also agree. Let's go Bears.
Yeah, let's go Bears. No, I do think at the least we'll get to that championship game though, and I think we could take a win. So we'll see.
All right, let's do this schedule, and we're gonna close her up after this. All righty, Zilla.
Yep.
Start with week one.
Week one.
This Sunday. Let's go, baby. I'm so happy football's back.
Old, new, improved Cardinals. The new Kyler Murray.
Home against the new Kyler Murray, Arizona, 1 p.m.
They're overhyped Sunday. Receivers. The stuff they acquired. I'm gonna say that's a win. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's gonna be it's a bit closer. I'm gonna say it's closer than I'd like it to be.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's like 28-14. So it's going to seem like a pretty close game, but it's not that close.
I think even closer. I think like 21-14, something like that. I get the feeling like our team is going to work great, but I think there's going to be that first time when all these new people are together, it's going to be a little.
No, I agree. You're definitely right. It might be a little weird.
And they're going to be going through the same thing. So I think the Cardinals aren't quite where we're at, but I think they have made improvements, hopefully, for themselves too this year. So
for sure.
Yeah. Then you don't have to wait too long for your Dolphins. This is a Thursday night game.
Prime time, Thursday night, couple days later.
Yep.
So short rest for both teams, I believe. I think it's at Miami. That's going to be tough. It's early in the season. Thank God, Zil.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes I don't know. Actually, it might be still. How hot is Miami right now?
But early in the season's better because if we have historically we lose defensive players pretty quick halfway through the season. So I'd rather
how
get that
hot
win
is it
now.
right now?
It's probably 90. Let's look. Miami.
86, not bad.
Humid not 86 bad. Probably.
Sunday, next Thursday, it says 87. That's honestly, now that I've lived in this kind of weather, I'm like, it will be hot for Buffalo, but they're coming out of a hot summer. So
yeah,
not bad. I think we actually have the advantage then in that game with the weather not being too bad and maybe raining. I think we pull it out. I think it's going to be a battle because we tend to always. I know we've blown out Miami a bunch too, but like I feel like this team both is decent and it's going to be a battle. So especially away, it's just never easy away. So I think I think we're going to pull it off, but it's going to be like a 24-21 victory.
I'm gonna go kind of opposite on this. I'm gonna go that we kind of blow them out. I think that last year we had their number like on that one game.
And we still fucking do.
Yeah. I know, but I'm saying I think though they got some holes, and I think that we have the best chance to get them the first time. Like Mike McDaniel seems to be pretty good about like figuring out a way to do it better the second time that season. So I'm gonna say that we beat them like 28-14, something like that. Like I think it'll be substantial.
And then Monday night versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've actually surprisingly, especially we played them early on a couple years in a row, we struggle against them.
Yeah,
I don't know why. It's just that team specifically over like the last 3-4 years we've struggled against pretty bad, and I don't understand. Josh gets beat up on them. He just has his number for some reason.
Last year in London,
I think it's definitely. Yeah. I definitely think it's huge. Is that in London? No, it can't be because it's 7:30 at night. 7:30 at night. So thank God. Thank you that we're not in London this year. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Monday night we get extra rest. That's actually a double Monday night that night. Another because another one plays at 8:30, so that'll be fun.
The early games tonight.
I think that's another win. I think we start out 3-0, very hot, very looking hot.
I think this time we beat up the Jaguars like we should have before. Yeah, I agree.
I'm thinking too. I'm calling like a 27-9 victory.
Yeah,
a pretty good beatdown.
I think that ratio is good. It might be a little higher. They might
like
get
21-0 at half kind of thing.
Yeah, I could see like yeah, like high 20s.
30.
Yeah, it's the high 20s, low 30s, and maybe like 12-14 for them. Like they probably get a touchdown and a couple field goals.
So that's 3-0 for both of us. Going into a very challenging game at Baltimore Sunday night. Oof. That's tough. But I think we're a much superior team to Baltimore. Like I said, I think they're going to miss playoffs. I think that actually ends up being a Josh Allen and offense truly coming out game, and I think we beat up on them like 35-17.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm thinking it's gonna be very close, like both in the 20s. I think it's gonna be like the new and improved Ravens. They also have Henry now, so we'll see how that goes. But
I think we're gonna look back on this game and they're gonna say when they're trying to talk about who's gonna win MVP, and they're gonna say Josh Allen absolutely demolished Lamar.
I think Josh has this game because he has to win. Like he's gonna have to show up and be top form.
Yeah.
But I don't think we blow him out as much as I'd like us to. But yeah, we'll see.
So 4-0 each.
Yep.
Going to, I think we're going to be very hyped up coming off the Baltimore game, and it's going to be a little too much hyped up. And I think we might blow it against Houston, especially it's a 1 p.m. game. Not a lot of craziness behind it. I think Houston looks good, but I think it's going to be like a close one where we kind of are stagnant on offense all game, and we come back towards the end and can't fully come back. So I think we're going to go to 4-1 here.
I also kind of agree. I think that the other factor is that a lot of times...
And it's another away game, back-to-back away games. Yeah. That's tough.
I was going to say another factor is that Diggs, like some teams allow a former player to go, like to get preference, and I think they'll do that with Diggs. I think he's going to want to go off to show everybody that he's still good, and he's probably going to have a huge game, and they're going to allow him to and feed him as long as he's doing well. And I just see him caring more about this win not carrying. I don't want to say those words, but it's going to mean more to him to show
This is
everybody.
Super Bowl because that's all Houston's doing.
Yeah, but he's gonna. It means more to him to show everybody that he's still great than it is for our defense to try to stop him. Like focus solely on him. You know what I mean? So like, yeah. So I think we do slip up on that for those two reasons. That and like you said, coming off of the wins. I think we always get sloppy when we have 2, 3, 4 wins.
Right.
Yeah.
Going into week 6 at the Jets, I think it's Monday Night Football again. That is crazy. See, the first 6 weeks, there's
4.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4 primetime games in the first 6 weeks. That's a hard schedule. Some easy games against Arizona, Jacksonville, I think are pretty easy, and finishing up with this another easy game against the Jets. I think we absolutely blow them out. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers can make it this far, but even if he does, I still don't think it's going to be. I think it might be close for the first half, and then we pull away the second half and win pretty easily, like 35-25, like 23, something like that.
I'm not on the hype train, but they've done pretty well against us too, like on defense when they don't feel like they should have.
Especially at Jets.
Yeah, and they don't feel like they should have, but they do. So I feel like it'll be a very close game. I feel like this is a statement game, though. Like Josh has got to show everybody that we've got it over Aaron Rodgers and the hype. Yes. So I think we all show up and we squeak this one out. It might be close, but yeah.
So we both think 5-1.
Yep.
Going into Tennessee, I think they're a better team than a lot of people are thinking. It's just a 1 p.m. game Sunday at home. I think if it was at Tennessee, it'd be a much more challenging game. But I think being at home, I don't think we necessarily blow them out, but I think we handle them pretty reasonably. And I think we go to 6-1 here.
They have a lot of new pieces too, so I think they are going to go through the growing pains too. Because like their whole team was upended on offense pretty much. So
yeah, and a lot of it depends on Levis too.
Yeah.
If he's having a good season, which I do kind of see a lot of Josh Allen and Levis, and I think like how he plays a little bit and how he like kind of sacrifices his body a little bit and how he's got a cannon too.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he develops, though. I mean, a lot of things can happen along for development to either go good or bad. So we'll see.
I think clear win, but not a blowout like some people would expect. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tennessee's much better than people think this year.
Yeah.
Week 8. That's after starting. What would that be? 6-1. Going into Seattle. At Seattle, 4:05 game. I like these 4:05 games. I actually enjoy it. Like sometimes having it more of the middle of the day instead of so early.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do too. Yeah.
6-1, 7-1. No explanation. Seattle's not that good. I think they'll be a pretty bad team this year. Not bad, but like maybe only 6-7 wins. They'll win some games just because they'll play some bad teams, but. I don't think they're that good, so I think this is an easy win.
I'm not concerned about it at all. Yeah, so.
Versus Miami at home, easy 8-1. Enough said. I've already said enough about them. 8-1.
I told you I think it's going to be closer.
Sweet.
I think it's going to be a lot closer the second time around, but we still win at home. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that because I think it's going to be a game where we're rolling and sometimes you get a little carried away, but I think we pull it out. At Indiana, joke of a team. No, they have a lot of good young people. They've got Michael Pittman. They've got Anthony Richardson.
We've struggled with them. We've struggled with them in the past too when we did.
I will say though, Indiana's obviously their offense heavily is dependent upon the success of Anthony Richardson. And honestly, we have 2 games, and people are rating him off of 2 games being pretty good off of 2 games. And we were like, okay, we'll see though.
But also,
has he really played like 4th down against one of the top defenses late in the game, trying to score a touchdown? Like we haven't seen this. We don't know. So like. We can sit here all day and say off of 2 games. Look at what's his name, Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
He was like one of those guys that had like played 13 total games through like high school, college, and everything, or whatever it was. It was like nothing crazy. And then he comes in and played like 1 year at like North Dakota State, and then he was bad, and they wonder why. It's like he never really has the experience. So we'll see.
I also think, but we've struggled with the Colts, and we haven't played them in a couple of years, really. But I just remember that last game too with Jonathan Taylor just having monster numbers against us. I think we're obviously a different team since then, and they are too. And I don't even know if he's capable of blowing up like that anymore. So we'll see. We'll see though. I think that we win though.
But I think we win. So
It's
that
one.
goes
It's
to
one of those that are
nine
weird
and one.
though. I could see us losing a stupid game like that. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I just like
But I could see it because it's away too. But if anything, that would be a slip up game possibly. But I really just don't think Colts are there yet.
it's almost like us being underprepared going into it though, and them being overprepared. Like I feel like
Yeah, that could happen.
I feel like it could. It's got potential for one of those games. I'll still.
It's
I'll still say it's a win. I'll call it.
Yeah, because it's really heavily dependent on the quarterback too.
Yeah.
I will say that right now. If they don't have a good quarterback, we beat them easy.
What is this, week 8? This is a great check-in. We can check in right before
This
this
is week
game.
10.
Oh,
Week
okay.
10.
This will be a good time to check in slightly before
We
this.
can check in after this game and see, because then we'd have 8 more games to go after this. Too.
Oh, well, I was gonna say just because if we do a couple weeks before this too, it'll be like close. What, 9? 9's like mid-season, so you could.
Yeah.
You'd know by then if Anthony Richardson's good or not.
Yeah. We could do week 9 halfway through. We could do a halfway through predictions after we know halfway.
It might be a good spot. Okay, then Chiefs and Bills.
Chiefs Bills. I don't know. I think we slip up against them here because it's even with a home, and we beat them in the playoffs. So I think we might slip up against them right here. We've beaten them 2 years in a row in the regular season, and I think we slip up and then beat them in the playoffs. So that's my prediction.
It's really one of those games that could go either way. It just depends on how people show up that day. So it's one I'm not confident on, so I could give it a loss as well.
9-2. Yeah. 9-2. Bye week, and then week 13 we come out against first San Francisco. I think it will be a very challenging game. Sunday Night Football. That's a great Sunday Night Football.
What happened last year? We played them last year too. Did we lost that or?
I don't think we did. I don't think we played them last year.
Yeah, we did. I think we definitely. Oh no, we didn't. We didn't. No. We played the Cowboys. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
All right.
Yeah, no. So San Fran at home, Sunday Night Football. Could be a possible Super Bowl match. I would think that's a realistic Super Bowl match.
It's one of the possible combinations, I think.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a close game. If anything, it's going to be like it's going to come down to the wire. Maybe a late touchdown, late field goal kind of thing. But I do think we pull it out. I think this is Josh's season this year. I think we pull it out, go to 10-2.
I think it's gonna be a good test too, yeah. But I think we take a loss here. I think we do.
9-3, 9-3 for you.
I'll say my reason is that this will be like a really good test in our defense because they're kind of like a full offense, like across the board. They got every category kind of down, so we'll see how we can do against that at that point.
And then this is where our season actually takes a turn for the best. So we have like our last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games are, I want to say easy, but it's definitely not that bad. Rams at Rams 425 again. Nice back-to-back 425. Oh, that's 4 weeks in a row we play late.
Oh, no. That's not the team that we manhandled after their championship. So
it is not, and I think they're okay. I think they've got some good team, but I don't think they're going to beat us here. I think if anything, it's going to be a good game, but I don't think it's going to be one where they beat us.
They have some problems too.
11-2.
They're a team with some holes, so I'm going to say that's a loss too. Also, for them, for
December 15th at Detroit, 425. We do play good against Detroit, but they could have beaten us a couple times the last couple of years. We got like lucky. I feel like they got lucky a couple times. I think this is the loss. It's away late in the season. It's going to be a battle. I think it's going to be a very close loss. Maybe the defense has a breakdown or they just happen to get a late field goal kind of thing. But I think we'll go to 10-3 or 11-3 here.
All right, I'm going to say that it's a win because I called the loss on the 49ers one. So
11-3 each.
I said we handle the Lions. I don't think they have the defense to handle us, especially by then we'll have it all figured out. So it should be, I think we're not going to roll through them, but we'll take it.
Last 3 games, home against New England, home against Jets, at New England, all 3 wins.
We don't need to even talk about New England. Belichick's gone. They're not a threat.
14 and 3 finish out for me.
And if we beat the Chiefs, if we beat the Jets, then we'll beat them again, I think.
If anything, I think if anything, we might slip up against the Jets early on, might slip up against Miami early on. These are I think we're going to go 14-3 to 13-4, somewhere in that area. But if we don't, I think we have a couple slip ups. If anything, would be at Miami, at Baltimore, at Houston, at Jets. That 3-game stretch will be a true test to our team. And I think coming out in week 7 against coming home against Tennessee, we will know the character of this team after that, because that is a tough stretch. That's 4 of 5 games against playoff teams
on the road,
right?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
no, it's 3 or 4 against playoff teams, and then we finish against at Jets. Obviously, Jets are supposed to be a much better team this year with Aaron Rodgers, so that's tough. At Miami, at Baltimore, at Houston, at Jets. That's a tough schedule. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of their first 9 games, or 5 of their first 8 games are away.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's going to be a tough start because it's never easy playing away ever. So.
Well, I think the season gets better. I think the season gets better once we have the Dolphins at home, because after that we're talking like Chiefs at home, we're talking 49ers at home. At least we got those really tough teams at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a good season. We'll be back much more I think we'll end up releasing a release date through a reel or something. Like a more consistent date of when we're going to be posting and stuff.
Yeah.
We plan to be both much more active on social media with as much stuff as we can. Obviously, we're busy in our lives, but we love our Bills. So, and we love doing this, and we hope you guys love it too. We hope you guys follow us, subscribe to us, like, share.
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell a Bills fan, tell anybody.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go Bills. We'll be back next week, hopefully, with another exciting episode and a Bills W.
Yeah, we'll talk about that
early next week too, since it's Thursday. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Try to get that fresh dub conversation going. Yeah.
Let's go.
Buffalo.